trip, there was a couple places I went to, but I decided to do it on Ephesus, Turkey. I also went to Greece and Italy, which were fabulous as well. But this was, we had went to change money over. This was the euros that they gave us, and $100 US dollars with a $12.99 fee gave you $65. So that kind of went far and away. You also had to pay for the restrooms out there. Thankfully, we didn't have to, being on tours. So that's what it looked like. So
Mine is so much prettier than ours.
it is prettier. Yeah, most of it was prettier. So this is the area. It was the yes. It was the kind of like the country of Ephesus. It's called Kusadasi. So they said there was a lot of storks there, and the more the storks, the more the people. So I thought that reference was pretty funny. The tour guide was stating that all of those mountains were made of marble. So it was a lot of marble made in those. This is a 2,000-year-old ancient Roman aqueduct in the Kusadasi district of Ephesus. So they used those for hot air, water, and they were underneath houses, behind walls, to be able to make the house feel better and all that. Okay. This was Agora, kind of means marketplace. It's the most and major commercial market of Ephesus. It was constructed in 3rd century. So the marketplace was a focal point for ancient society. This is where there was shopping and socializing. So it wasn't just to go get food, they all stopped and talked as well. But a lot of that in the background is buried as well. So that was, they've only brought up some of it over time, but that's a little bit of what's standing, and there's smaller pillars because that is underground. So this was part of the marketplace as well, but I took this picture mainly because it was large marble ruins right there. So all that stuff was standing until an earthquake several years later, causing it to all just fall down. But I think it said that it was like 1,100 square feet was the whole entire marketplace in that area. So the sound isn't working on this one, but I was walking. This is Crete Street. This was the main street. Those 3 streets there. This was the main street and one of the main ways through Ephesus. It was a slick marble street, which is why I'm walking how I'm walking, because I was kind of trying to show with even the shoes I'm wearing right now. It was slick to walk on, and try to do that and walk with a camera was hard. So it leads to the library of Celsus, to the Hercules Gate. This gate separated uptown from downtown. So this right here, the tour guide was discussing the light fixtures, how they would put four things in those and tie them down to where it was oil, because they dealt a lot with oil there. It would illuminate the road there. And then he talks about what we do nowadays, where it was a very, let's see, run this guy right here. Yeah, so how we just use those little lights, but they were advanced in their time using the oil lamps to light it. So, and then he's discussing how on the streets where they were very slick for animals and people to walk on, and it kind of was going at a slant, they would cut or carve with a hammer, chisel, whatever, through to help have traction so you didn't fall or there was no accidents. So this right here, this symbol means medicine, and then there's another one on the other side that meant pharmacy that you walk through. So if you saw this, it was a serpent. It was used as a medical symbol because of the snake's ability to shed its skin and renew itself. So at the same time, the ancients also knew that snake venom had curative powers. So Ephesus was famous for its medical school. So this was around quite a bit there. And then this is the symbol that means pharmacy. It's a mortar and a pestle, it said. So this was the governor's house. So it was much larger than the terrace houses. And this was on Curate Street as well. So a lot of the ruins were saved from that. And I'm not sure if those people standing were the governor itself or himself. But there were lots of statues with just people on them. I'm sure they had a significance there. These are olive trees. These were sprung throughout even before we even got there. So they're perennial evergreen trees that can live up to 2,000 years. So like those 2,000-year-old aqueducts. So I mean, these could be ones that have still stood from that time. There's nearly 90 different varieties produced in Turkey, 10 plus different olive oils. Olive oils have historically been used for not only eating, but medicinal remedies, cleansing, and sacrificial practices. So those have lots of significance out there. So they use oil for lots of things. And this is just a photo of Curate Street. So all those colorful things, those were all people. It was very, very crowded. It was hard to get through there, so. I took this picture because there was lots of cats in the area. So I don't know if, because there's not many people that live around there, but there was at least like 6 or 7 cats that were there. And it was, they like to sit in the stoops of those things there. So this is the fountain of Trajan. Trajan was an emperor. It was built in 2nd century AD. So of this, there was 2 ornamental pools in the front and the rear. And then the upper level pool was surrounded with Corinthian style columns. And then only the pedestal and one of the emperor's feet belonging to this statue of Trajan have survived. So there is like a yellow, like there's a foot kind of like right in the middle. So the square, and then that's where his foot was. So it was a pretty tall statue. So, and then there was reading on the bottom of that. Let's see. So an inscription at the base stated that the world rested at the emperor's feet. So this was symbolized by a round stone placed under the foot of the emperor's statue. So that was supposed to be the earth right there. And then these were the terrace houses, aka the house of the rich, or luxury Roman villas. So the heating system, like I said earlier, were clay pipes beneath the floors, and behind the walls carried hot air through the houses. The room, they had no window, except for that one being up at the front. So only illuminated light coming from the open hall. So most rooms were dim. But I looked online, and on the inner part of that, it's actually pretty cool with a mosaic floor, and it was was pretty dim in there, but there's paintings on the walls. So these are on this was one that was broken down. This was on the mosaics of the floor of a terrace house. So I thought that was pretty cool because all those were hand done mosaic. And it kind of reminded me of like fancy carpet, but hard. So this right here was on the side of, not a terrace house, but this was on down a road. So a right-facing symbol is a swastika. It was symbolizing Surya, which is sun, prosperity, and good luck. So they had these around different buildings just to cover them with their houses with good luck. So this is the Library of Celsus. It's one of the biggest libraries of ancient times. They have rebuilt this a couple times, I think one last being in the 60s, but it has not fallen since. It's located at the heart of the city. It consists of a mausoleum of the tomb of Gaius Julius Celsus Pulmanius, who had been consul and governor, and after passing, his son had the library built in his honor. Okay, and this was me enjoying the time there. So there, it was kind of hard to get close to take pictures where people were wanting to take pictures. So I couldn't get a full-fledged thing, but if you look close, there's 4 female statues, represent abstract concept, and under the statues are Greek inscriptions giving information about characters of them. So they're personifications of the virtues of Celsus, but also from the virtues the life of high Roman officials should have had. So this is Enoia, it's insight. This is Sophia, which is wisdom. This is Arete, which is virtue. And this is Episteme, which is knowledge. So in this was a really pretty area. This is where the Apostle Paul preached. So down through that road and on over near this, that kind of boulder standing right there by the cross. Okay, this also is where he preached at. And then he preached here as well, which is the Great Theater, where they now have concerts here. So this is the theater gymnasium. It's northwest of the Great Theater that you just saw. So Ephesian type of bath gymnasium complexes. It's U-shaped recreation and lobby halls surrounded the bathing rooms. So those, bathing rooms in the back left. In the north of the building, the open courtyard, which is a palestra to the south with a tribune that had 4 rows of step seats, served both for physical training as well as mental activities. So those in the back there. And behind that was the bathing houses. So they use that as a gym. Okay, and this is the Great Theater. This is Ephesus, yep. And then down the road, I had went to the Virgin Mary's house. This is where I brought the holy water from. So this was a decent sized statue there. I was trying to go online and depict like breaking down the language, because of course it was different if they didn't have it English. This was me. You could purchase candles inside, and it's a donation to Virgin Mary's house. Just upkeeping but they will not allow you to get one, as I almost forgot to put money in there, and there was someone standing there. But it was hard to stick those in there, but you would buy those, and it was kind of more so giving a prayer there, and it would not stay up for me. So, I was not allowed to take any photo or video inside of Virgin Mary's house. It was restricted, but it was very small in there. You could probably fit a total of 7 people lining from the beginning to the end, just standing in a straight line. But there was a picture of Mary in a clear picture frame that it looked like it didn't even look like paint, but it looked like somebody had maybe put it with their thumb on the wall and just kind of made a projection of her on the wall. So I thought that was pretty cool. Let's see. So this was the drinking water. This was the holy water. So I did find what that meant up there. It means drinking spring water to the Virgin Mary. So this is where I retrieved the holy water. I had gotten this and another water bottle of it. So there was a lot of people there praying before they had retrieved the water as well. So there was 2 or 3 different spouts that you had put it out in, so where you could fill up your cup or canister. So this was the wishing wall, which was right around the corner, coming from the holy water. The wishing wall at the house of the Virgin Mary, it was believed to be the last residence of Mary. All I did was lay my hand on the wall and wish for my family in church to be blessed. So I didn't know if that's what you're supposed to do or if that was, some other kind of thing. But that's what I did. So there was not only handwritten letters from families and individuals wishing peace and wellness and whatever, but gifts had been left in holes as well. I didn't want to touch anything, but that back there looked to be a gift of the wishing wall. So asking Mother Mary to bless different things was that. So, and that's another part of the wishing wall. It's made up of several kinds of paper and fabrics that I saw. I also found gloves written on, as well as hair bows. So, in so many different languages as well, and they're just tied off and stuck on there. I didn't have anything to put on there, but I thought it was interesting how people would just pull bows out of their heads just to write on them. So that was pretty cool. And then this was just kind of leaving there. So it's got right in the middle. That was kind of lined throughout. It was just one right after the other as you were leaving. So those are pretty large too. So I was allowed to do a video outside of there, but they had that set up. And I'm not sure what happened there, but those are some steps that you go, that not you go up, but I'm not sure where that had led to. But that says, House of the Virgin Mary and its surroundings is a sacred and holy place. While visiting, please observe silence and be appropriately dressed. So, there was also a baptism pool there as well before going into the house. So that was pretty large as well. So, and then the last part, this was a gigantic, it was pretty big to where I even had to zoom in. I could not get the reading off of there, but this is a gigantic, I'm sure that's very heavy, statue of the Virgin Mary. So that concludes that.